Hey everyone, since I started YouTube, I've done the top 10 sets for all the Star Wars eras except the sequels, so I had recently did the top 10 LEGO sets for The Force Awakens, and today I am continuing with the top 10 LEGO Star Wars The Last Jedi sets. Now, Episode 8 only saw a total of 15 sets released, but I'd say the ones that made it into the list are good. But anyways, no need to take up any more time, let's go ahead and get started with number 10. It is the Ahch-To Island Training Set, which came out in 2018 for $30. It's a neat little build of Luke Skywalker's HUD, and I do overall like the design. Of course, there are some play features for Rey to lift up some rocks, and there is also an interior behind the HUD which has a bed as well as some pots for Luke to cook, and there's also just a couple of other accessories like a porg. Now, I will say, compared to really any other LEGO Star Wars set, for $30 I probably would have passed on this because it doesn't look like the most exciting build. Also just doesn't look like a set that should be $30. With there being only 15 sets, there's not many below this, but I will say those are either worse or just less interesting. Like there was a buildable porg that I put this one over. I originally had that one at number 10, but honestly I just don't find the buildable porg exciting. There's just a lot more features in this one, a lot more playability, and I also just like the more mini porgs a lot better. But you get two solid minifigures, of course, with old Luke. I do like the robe printing. Overall, this is a solid set. Next up at number 9 is the First Order Specialist Battle Pack. This also released in 2018, and this was back when battle packs were a much more affordable price at $15. Let's go ahead and start with the build, as that's not the most important part of a battle pack. It is a turret, and as far as the design goes, it's okay. I think I've seen some better battle pack turrets. It's also not the worst build I've seen in a battle pack either, so it does its job here, but the minifigures are definitely the highlight, specifically the First Order Executioner Trooper. I really love the black marking on the Stormtrooper helmet as well as the black arms. It's one of the more cooler First Order Stormtroopers, and I'm glad that this battle pack gave an opportunity to get them. Now, their weapon on the other end isn't the most accurate. I would have liked maybe a newer mold or just a better design to kind of accurately depict the look of what they used in the movie, but what I will say is what we got is similar enough. The other two minifigures is a First Order crew member as well as a shuttle pilot, so it's nice to get some more different types of personnel, but First Order Executioner definitely is the highlight here for me. At number 8 is the Elite Praetorian Guard Battle Pack, which released the following year in 2019 for the same price tag of $15, and I find this one a lot better as the Praetorian Guards are very cool, and you get 3 of them plus a First Order Trooper, so all around I think this minifigure lineup is better than the previous battle pack. We'll start with the build again. It is a training stand with 2 rotating sections, so you can have 2 Praetorian Guards practicing against each other, so it makes for a nice play feature. There is also a training droid included, so I do like the builds overall in the set. And then of course there's the Praetorian Guards, which just look very cool, and I'm glad we get 3 of them. It would have been cool for all 4, but I actually do kind of like the First Order Trooper edition there. And then combine that with the 2 different types of Praetorian Guards here with the helmets, it just adds some variety. Overall, I do like this battle pack, and I also do like the build being a dual stand because you don't have to just use the Praetorian Guards. You could really grab any other lightsaber user that you want, so I do like the playability factor here. Also, the Praetorian Guards do look cool. Next up at number 7, it is Snoke's Throne Room from 2018, and it had a retail price of $70. I really like the minifigure lineup, of course, having Snoke and then Kylo Ren and Rey, and then just 2 Praetorian Guards. So I think the minifigure lineup here is the highlight. I think the build overall is okay. It's not the best. It's kind of just a more minifigure stand. The best comparable set is the Death Star Throne Room, and I feel like that one is a lot better. There's elevation and there's more play features and everything incorporated. Whereas here, I don't feel like there's a lot of fun things to do with the build other than kind of just use it as a battleground, which is okay, of course, but I think with this throne room, it should have had at least those spinnable sections that the Praetorian Guard battle pack had earlier. I do like the architecture design here as well as the color palette for the build, but yeah, overall I do think that the minifigures elevate this set. The 2017 buildable BB-8 comes in at number 6. It did have a retail price of $100. I do really like the design. It's definitely a heavy stud look, whereas the newer BB-8 version was a lot more modernized, but I will say I do like this one more than the 2025 one, as it has a more sphere looking design, and honestly the more I look at this one, the more I like this BB-8. There is a feature to, of course, have BB-8 pull out the lighter as shown in The Force Awakens, but yeah, overall overall I do like BB-8. Now entering the top 5 with the Resistance Bomber. Now there were two versions of this set released, one with a different character named Finch Dallo, who I think was actually in the movie, whereas the first version included just a generic Resistance pilot. I'm kind of just going to combine both sets here as the one rank since it's just one minifigure difference. But anyways, let's take a look at the Resistance Bomber. Definitely one of the more unique designs to come out of the sequel trilogy. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I do like the build though because it does have a pretty accurate design, and I really like the World War II inspired turrets that this has, you know, that sort of ball shaped. This is also a pretty good size too, and there's a solid amount of interior space. You can fit at least 4 minifigures, which is always good to see. The only thing I don't like about the design is the 2 small wings there at the front. They're too thin and there's just not enough detail on them. I would have liked at least some more tiles. And for the minifigure lineup, I like it overall as well. A lot of Resistance characters to get. I overall like this set a lot. It was definitely one that I wanted when it came out, but yeah, it's such a unique design, a very towering look for a ship. Moving on to number 4, it is the First Order Heavy Assault Walker. It had a price tag of $150 and it was released in 2017. Definitely one of the more cooler designs that I think the sequel trilogy had. Obviously, it's very AT-AT-like, and it is also drastically larger than the typical AT-AT as shown in the movie, which I think is one of my complaints with this build, is that it's still kind of in the play scale as the other AT-ATs that we've gotten, and the interior space here really lacks. I would have liked this to have been bigger. They could have made it a more expensive set to at least capture the scale that this walker has in the movie. But the design does get an overall pretty accurate look of the walker. I like the cannon at the top being a stud shooter, so there's a little bit of playability there. Also like the design of the head here. I think that's one of my favorite parts about this First Order walker, and it gets the overall shaping of the vehicle as well. And the minifigure lineup is solid. You get a couple of troopers for both the First Order and Resistance. You get Rey, Poe Dameron, and a First Order walker driver, which definitely has an interesting design. This build definitely has a pretty accurate looking design. I like the walker here, just except the very minimal interior. I think this is definitely something that I'd like to see in the future as a UCS set, especially since these sequels really have no representation in the Ultimate Collector series. It probably won't ever happen, but anyways, I do consider this a really good set. At number 3, I have the Defensive Crate, which released in 2018 for $85, and I really like what comes in this set. I want to start with the Resistance Ski Speeder. As unique as this vehicle is, you know, it wasn't really my favorite from the sequel trilogy at all, and it's definitely an interesting concept, but I do like it in Lego form, and I love the design really getting the worn down and old look that it has in the movie. And the other 2 builds are fortifications for the base that was once the Rebel Alliance, and I really like the inclusion of them. It kind of creates a surrounding area of Crate. I really like the trench build, especially. It has a nice turret where you can place a Resistance trooper, and then there is also a tower troopers to use as well, so I like the defenses that are represented in this set to go along with the ski speeder. Everything just adds up to the playable factor and brings a little bit of that crate battle to life, and especially if you have the First Order walker, you can, you know, of course, pit these sets together. And the minifigure lineup is solid, coming with 2 First Order troopers, though they are vastly outnumbered, and I do like Poe Dameron's hair/headset mold, but yeah, I am pretty high on this set. At number 2, it is Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter, which released in 2017 for $80. Even though there's really no accessory builds in here that would have increased the gap between this one and the Defensive Crate, I just think that the build here is vastly better. I mean, just look at this beast of a TIE Fighter. It really fits Kylo Ren's persona. It looks very menacing. It's very consistent with his shuttle. It just looks to be a good sized build too, and it just has that accurate look with the extremely long wings. I like the details, and honestly, one of my favorite parts about, I guess, Kylo Ren's 2 vehicles are the red windscreens. Just definitely adds to that dark side menacing look. I really like this set, and like I said, it's pretty close in rank to the Defensive Crate. This is just the better build in my opinion. It looks very cool. I really wish there were some accessory builds included in here. Definitely would have heightened the set even more, but yeah, I gotta say I really do like the look of Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter. One of the coolest ships on this list for sure. And at number 1, the best Last Jedi set is the First Order Star Destroyer, and I personally think it really deserves this #1 spot. It was released in 2017 for $160, and I just really like the look of this play scale, capital ship that we get. Very similar to the Star Destroyer, of course, but the new First Order have a more flat design there at the top. But I really do like the look. Like every other play scale capital ship, this can open up to reveal a very spacious interior where you can fill it with the minifigs that come in this set. And also compared to some other ones, I like the interior a lot here and what is represented. I like the control panel area on the right. Also like that there is an elevated section with an elevator to take a minifigure up there. Just adds a little extra to the interior. Now for the exterior, like I said, the Star Destroyer does look good. I would have liked the 4 turrets on each side to have been brick built, maybe a little bit more of an accurate design rather than them be stud shooters. It does make for a fun play feature. I think it just would have heightened the design even more. And then I do like the minifigure lineup, of course, giving you some First Order personnel to fill out the Star Destroyer with, but I really do think that this is the best Last Jedi set, and I really like the Star Destroyer a lot. That is my top 10 LEGO Star Wars The Last Jedi sets. Like I said, there weren't a lot that released for this movie, but I do like the choices that I have in this list. Now all that's left is the Rise of Skywalker, so it's going to be fun taking a look at those sets. But anyways, let me know down in the comments what you think about my list. Definitely lightsaber slash that like button and hit subscribe with the bell on so you know when I upload. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.